Good morning, boys and girls. We're moving along with Al Capone Does My Shirts. Where we left off last, the it was Natalie's birthday, and she turned 10 again for like the 10th time. Okay, but in reality, she is like 16. All right, so here this chapter is called "The Truth." Same day, Monday, May 27th, 1935, and maybe when they're talking about the truth, maybe. We'll find out. She'll let Moose will let his parents know about Natalie, and we'll see. Let's see what happens here. All right. When I get home, my mom is doing the dishes. Natalie is sitting in the living room, paging through a magazine. For a second, there's something so normal about this until I realize the pages are turning too fast, and she's holding the magazine too close to her face. It's the breeze from the spinning pages she's after. My mom seems more relaxed. The party went well, the day is almost over, and Natalie seems fine, as calm as she ever is. I try to walk away, shut the door of my room, but I can't. Something inside me won't let me. You can't do this, I tell my mother. What? My mother looks up from the pot she's scoring. She isn't 10, I say, my voice hoarse. My mother winces and turns away. Yes, she is, she says in a tough voice. No, she's not, Mom. She's not, and everybody knows it. My mom continues to stare at the pot. Her face is quivering. Her hands are scrubbing. She is, she sputters. No, Mom, you know she's not. 11, my mom gulps. She sounds like a very little girl. I'm going to say she's 11. It's her birthday today. She looks 16. She is 16. No, just no. My mother roars. People know, Mom. They know. They don't know, she cries, tears steaming down her face. You don't know. She won't have a chance at 16. No one will take her. No one cares about an adult that isn't right. It's only kids who have a chance. It's too late if she's 16. Don't you see? Yeah, but Mom, you can't pretend. It's worse. People know. No one knows. They don't know and they don't care. Put her in an institution. Do you know how many times I've heard that? Lock her up with all the nuts. She has to be 10. It's the only chance she has. Don't you think they know at the Esther P. Marinoff? Don't you think Mr. Purdy can tell? Everybody can tell, Mom. No, they can't. She's tall for her age. You're tall too. She's not going to be like everybody else, Mom. This is her only chance, and it's no chance at all if you're not honest. Don't say it. Don't you dare say anything. My mom's hands are pressed over her ears. My father rushes inside. He had been out in the front balcony chewing his toothpicks. He must have heard us. He looks at my mom, then me. What the heck's going on here? Natalie is 16, Dad. We can't pretend she's not anymore. She isn't 10. She just isn't. My dad bites his lip hard. Let's not do this now, Moose. Not with the interview tomorrow. We have to do it. Mr. Purdy knows. Everybody knows. We can't try to fool them. She won't get in. It won't work. My father's eyes get big. He shakes his head, but so slowly he seems to be saying no to what he's thinking, not to me. It's quiet in the kitchen. My mother's sitting on the stool, her face buried in her hands. My father turns away. I can see how he covers his head with his hand now. Ashamed, he is crying. Moose, he says, trying to wipe the tears from his handkerchief. He takes a big noisy breath. No, my mom cries. No! Natalie is in the living room, silently rocking. My dad presses his lips together and wipes his eyes. He seems to get himself together and breathes a half breath, a half sigh. Moose is right, honey. Don't you dare, my mother cries. Yes, he says again. He puts his arm around my shoulder and walks me out to the living room, where Natalie is sitting, rocking. Natalie, he asks softly, his voice breaking. How old are you? I am 16 at 2:31 today, Natalie says, her eyes focused on the table lamp. My father presses his lips so hard together they turn white. The tears are falling again so fast, it looks as if he can't see. He puts his arm around me and pulls me to Natalie. He puts his arm around her. I am. He wipes at his eyes with his shoulder so he doesn't have to let go of us. So very proud of my children. So very proud. A sob escapes his chest. What wonderful people you've grown to be. Wow. All right. Next chapter is waiting, and I think that's kind of short. I think we'll give it a shot. All right, here we go. It is Tuesday, May 28th, 1935. I guess we might find out if she gets into the Marinov school. Let's find out. The next morning, I feel my mother watching me as I rinse my cereal bowl, search for my history homework, put on my socks. She has her makeup on, but her eyes look puffy, her face swollen. What? I ask her. She says nothing, busies herself getting Natalie ready to go. When I get home from school, Teresa, Natalie, and my mother are sitting in the living room. My mother is radiant. Natalie was wonderful. She spoke clearly in the new Natalie way. She tried her best to look at Mr. Purdy when she spoke. She even told a joke. A joke! Why did the chicken cross the road? My mom said, Natalie asked Mr. Purdy. Well, I don't know, Natalie, Mr. Purdy had said. Because one of his buttons rolled to the other side, Natalie said. Okay, it wasn't funny, but still, I thought it was kind of funny. Even as happy as my mother seems about this, she is still watching me in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable. Come on, Moose, she says after I polish off a stack of cold pancakes from last night's supper. I want to talk, just the two of us. Teresa chatters on about tomato juice. Natalie seems to be listening. I even see her look up at Teresa once or twice. Teresa has a real instinct for what Natalie will find fascinating. Who's going to watch Natalie? I asked. Though, really, what I'm wondering is what my mom wants to talk about. I don't have talks with my mom, only with my dad. Me, of course, Teresa says. My mom nods. She smiles at Teresa, but not at me. It's almost as if she doesn't want to look at me. We walk down the stairs to the dock. She fiddles with her button on her sweater. I'm sorry about last night, she says. What do I say to this? Nothing. I say nothing. I'm too angry to make this easy for her. She looks across the water to Berkeley. I didn't like it. I didn't like what you said. She shakes her head. She dragged me all the way out to say that. This has to be the biggest understatement in the world. You didn't care that it made me mad, my mom said in a quiet tone of voice. You didn't care that it upset your father. You didn't care that it was the night before Natalie's interview. You didn't care about anything. I have never been so furious with anyone in all my born days. My mom's voice is strangely calm. She isn't angry, but I am. I'm seething inside. I open my mouth to tell her how wrong she is, how unfair she's being. Wait! She holds her finger to her lips. Let me finish. But I see how much you care about Natalie. That's the part that didn't make sense. All night I tossed and turned. I kept asking, why? Moose, of all people, why did he say that? Why? And you know what? I could only come up with one answer. You did it because you believe in your heart it was the right thing to do. You were doing what you thought would help your sister. She stops. Tears spill down her face. I can't imagine how I could ask for anything more from you. I can't imagine how I could. She's crying now, but now watching me, looking at me. I take a swallow of air, like suddenly I have to remind myself to breathe. My mother never does this. She never tries to imagine how I feel. I take another swallow of air to pretend interest in a big barge moving slowly past Angel Island. I don't want to cry. Did you tell Mr. Purdy? I asked. My words came out deep and rich. I hardly recognized my voice. No, my mother looks directly at me. He didn't ask, and I didn't say. But it's a conversation we need to have. I know that, Moose. Her voice squeaks. I do. That night, my mother makes a wonderful dinner: roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, green beans with almonds, orange salad, cornbread, and cream of asparagus soup. She's just cutting into the lemon meringue pie when we hear a knock. It's Mrs. Ciccione, my dad whispers. Natalie stops eating. My mother takes a deep breath. She hands me the pie server. My father takes her hand. Together they follow Mrs. Ciccione. Our apartment is suddenly so silent, so empty. Natalie's head moves down, close to her plate, the way she always used to eat. I only realize now it's been months since I've seen her eat this way. She shovels her pie in one bite after another with no time to chew. I keep eating, but now the pie tastes dull and cold like baby food. I cut myself another piece, but I can hardly chew. My neck stiffens. It turns to stone. My stomach feels as if I've swallowed a quart of vinegar. Where are they? My father's footsteps on the landing are slow and heavy. When he opens the door, his face is sagging and deeply wrinkled. The decision is the same. Not ready, he informs the floor. Not ready. My dad's shaking hand finds his toothpicks. He pops two in his mouth, goes in his room, and closes the door. All right, so I guess she did not get in quite yet. So we'll see where this goes. The next chapter is 37, called Carrie Kelly. Same day, Tuesday, May 28th, and Wednesday, May 29th, 1935. All right, let's till next time. Have a good day.